Community's Pro Bono Council when it first started up. She's now the chair of the Manzanar Advisory Commission, and is the head of race relations in the Clinton administration. So Rose, come on up here. Thank you very much for coming.
Good afternoon. I'm very pleased to have been asked to make this next presentation. But before I do, I want to take a moment to publicly acknowledge a few individuals. Today, Manzanar literally has the wind in its back. This is a far cry from the lonely struggles, the days when Sue Embry is chair of the Manzanar Committee, and others fought to establish Manzanar as a National Historic Site. You've met them, you heard from them, but I want to, at this time, publicly thank them. We have the highest levels of the Park Service here with us today. John Reynolds, who is the Western Regional Director, who's provided leadership to move this project forward. One thing he did was to submit Manzanar among all the choices in his region to be considered as part of the President's Millennium Grant Program to save America's treasures. Manzanar was successful in receiving an award for $150,000, and so we, the Manzanar Commission, the committee, and the community wish to thank you, John Reynolds. And we are also very, very fortunate to have with us today the director, the highest individual in the National Park Service, Director Robert Stanton. We are a little bitty site. There are hundreds of parks, and yet he chose to join us today. He is making Manzanar a priority. When the President announced his One America program, Department of Interior, with the leadership of Director Stanton, jumped out there to highlight and showcase a number of sites, including the Underground Railroad. That he understands that to achieve the President's vision of One America, we need to acknowledge our past racial injustices. So telling the story about slavery, telling the story about the internment of persons of Japanese ancestry, many of them citizens, is a necessary part of the healing process that needs to take place for our community and the American people. So Director Stanton, I really appreciate your being here today. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and in particular for the budget appropriation request for $4.2 million in next year's budget to rehabilitate the auditorium. So help us in getting that bill passed, folks. I want to now acknowledge someone who's played an instrumental role in helping us get to where we are at today. And before I do that, I would like to, as chair of the Manzanar Advisory Commission, ask the other members of the commission to come forward. I see Martha Davis. Martha used to be head of the Mono Lake Committee, she used her strong advocacy skills to help us get the bill passed. Martha, let's see, I see Bill Michaels. He's vice chair of the commission, and Bill is the director of the Eastern Sierra Museum, and they are a partner with us at the park. Jan Matsuda, one of our young ones.
Thank you.
Everything's comparative. Keith Bright, former supervisor of Inyo County, who was helpful in getting support from those other folks on the other party on the Hill to get the bill passed, and securing support here in Inyo County. Standing next to him to his right, you all recognize him. He's known for many things. Among them, he's a premier fly fisherman, Mas Okui. Next is Richard Stewart. Richard Stewart's a local. Richard is very involved in our helping in interpreting the site, and he conducts tours as he's done today. And let's see, do we have anyone else? Vernon Miller, I don't see him here. And our last, Glenn Singley, who's has been transferred from Inyo County to now head up, I believe, the Aqueduct Division for the Department of Water and Power. And he was very, very instrumental in helping us here. And in fact, because of DWP's watering the site, you're not getting dust in your eyes today. So Glenn, thank you. And then we have an individual who is a member of the commission in waiting. Where are you, Dennis Osuji? Come on up. Dennis is active in leadership role in the National Landscape Architects Association, and he's helping us with some of the design and the layout of the site. And so these folks are working very hard to bring the interpretation and the development of the site forward. And the last person, you don't need any introduction to her, is our commission member emeritus, Sue Embry.